This is gonna be the last project I do in this house, I swear. Ignore that. So while doing sewing hacks, I dumped out all of my fabric scraps into this lovely pile in the center of the room, which the puppy has made into his bed.
Are you so comfy?
If it squishes, he sits. Sure. And I was gonna just throw all of these in a trash bag, transport them to the new house whenever that finally happens, and then do all of the organizing over there because, yes, there is some organizing in store for these. But then I thought, hey, you know what? It'll probably be easier to just organize them now because part of that plan is putting them all in nice little containers. Then it'll be even easier to transport them. So why not just blaze ahead with this plan? Also, while doing those sewing hacks, I learned how to make a very easy fabric vessel. It's in here somewhere. Where did you go? Well, I don't know what happened to it. It made me think, hey, I could just take some rectangles of fabric, possibly even some good old fabric quarters, fat quarters, whatever you want to call them, and I could make a bunch of simple bags, and then I can organize my fabric scraps into them, and you know, they're soft and squishy and I can put handles on them and they'll move around easily, and I could just like hang them on a bunch of hooks potentially. I don't really know what my new studio is gonna look like, but this seemed like a good plan because ultimately here is the organization that I want for my fabric scraps. I want woven fabrics and knit fabrics to be separate. And then within those two categories, I want small, medium, and large fabric scraps. Small being like, you can't really make anything with this. It's probably going to need to be like stuffing or something like that. Medium is like, this is big enough that you could potentially make a patchwork something out of it. You could make a square out of this, you could make a pocket out of it maybe, anything like that. And then large is big enough fabric scraps that I could potentially make something out of this. You know, like this piece right here that I can't currently think of where it came from. What the crap is this piece of fabric and where did it come from? I don't remember using this. Anyway, this is big enough that like I could make something out of this. So I want this to be separate. That way, when I look at all my fabric scraps, I know where to go for the scrap I'm looking for, you know? I also want all of the big pieces to be folded up instead of wadded up because right now they're all getting very wrinkly, and that just means I have to iron them later. Ooh, what is this? That's a whole skirt. This was my first attempt at a petticoat that I decided was way not swooshy enough. Oh my god. Yes! Do you want to wear the hat? He does not. Come here, just put it on your head. You're not gonna die. He believes otherwise. This is why I do not make clothes for the puppy. He does not like wearing them. So the question is, should I make bags first or should I separate scraps first? Because I would like to note that it is quite late in the evening right now. Yeah, I hit a weird time of day when it's not late enough for me to quit, but it's still pretty late. So I'm gonna start this, but I don't have much time for it. I guess I should make the bags first because especially for the really tiny scraps, I just need something to put them in. Okay, I figured while I was at it, I might as well just take out all of the small pieces of fabric that I have in that cabinet. Hi! Because basically this is what I'm qualifying as a large scrap. It's not really big enough for me to make even a shirt out of it by itself, but it is definitely big enough for something. Also, I should get rid of my latest Remainders hull. A small one, but I felt the need to go to Remainders one last time before we move. Not that I'm gonna go any less just because we're moving further away. I just wanted to. And patchworking is clearly still on my brain because I got some really cute fat quarters. Look at this butterfly print. It's so pretty. But oh my god, my favorite. They had these rolls of fabric for $1. $1 for all of them. Like these 3 fabrics, $1 altogether. Then I saw one. It had these 3 fabrics, which I was like, okay, whatever. But I saw the slightest edge of another fabric in between them, and I was like, I have to buy that roll to find out what it is, and I'm so glad I did. Look at this piece. adorable. Oh my god, I love it so much. But I can cut out each of those squares and then patchwork it in with some other adorable colors. Ah, that's happening in future though. Keep an eye out. $1 for all this. God, I love remainders. Anyway, that was not the point of this video. These need to go away. I do think I want to start with just the 1/4 yard piece, because if I do the little folding trick, actually, is that gonna be a really weird size? But I could just put another stripe of different fabric around the top. Ooh, okay, so I think what I'll do is take one fabric quarter here, so this is a 1/4 yard, and then a second one I'll cut in half right down the center and sew onto this one. So you've got a stripe of different fabric on each side. And then I'll interface that entire thing because I want this to be fairly stiff so that it's a little bit stable and it'll hold its shape. Do the folding thing, sew that into a bag, then make a second one that exact same size to be a lining on the inside, and then make handles. And we're good. This should be super easy, yeah? Let me iron all of these. And don't yell at me for not pre-washing them. I know you should pre-wash fabric, but these are bags. I'm not gonna wash them. I'm not gonna wear them. And I'm too lazy for that. Also, this is a fun little experiment because I've literally never sewn a bag before. I'm not much of a purse person or a bag person, so I've never had the need to. I was gonna go out and buy like a bunch of different baskets, but honestly, those take up so much more space because they are stiff. And that's what I did originally. I bought this big basket chest and then I immediately ran out of room. Immediately being like 6 months later. But still, I ran out of room because you can only stuff it so much because it is not a flexible container. So I think this is a better idea. Do I sound like I'm just trying to convince myself now? Whatever, we're doing it. I basically did what I said I would do, sorta, kinda, mostly. I ironed all the pieces while watching the greatest comfort movie in existence, the 2005 Pride and Prejudice. Her aunt and uncle were like, oh, we kinda lost you on this tour of the house, so we just left. Figured you'd just walk here on your own. Did they even try to find her? Then I cut 1/4 in half and sewed it onto the ends of another 1/4, flat felling the seams for no reason other than that being something that I've been meaning to try. I folded that in half, wrong sides together, marked 3 inches from the bottom, then folded back each side at that 3-inch mark so the right sides were together with that little magical fold in the bottom that gives your bag volume, and then I stitched up the sides. Turned it right side out and then realized that I hadn't done what I said I would do. I didn't add interfacing. Damn it. I forgot to interface. Whoops. I guess this is the lining now. After getting another of the same but, interfaced bags made, I stuck 2 quarters right sides together and marked out 4 straps on it, sewing all of those lines first and then cutting them apart after, which made me feel like an evil genius even though I know that that is like a common method of sewing efficiency. I am an evil genius. Of course I'm not. Whee! That part is not necessary, but it is fun. Oh, look at the big yawn. I turned those right side out, ironed them, and top stitched them for strength and looks, before pinning the 2 bags together around the top, right side to right side, with those straps inserted evenly, sewed around, and totally forgot I had to leave an opening to turn it right side out, so did a little bit of unpicking. Squished a whole bunch of material through that comparatively small hole, top stitched around the rim, and tra-la! Okay. A bag. Whole thing only took me like hour or 2 to make. I made a bag. Yeah, I am pretty happy with that. I'm just gonna do it all again, except I don't have any more of that interfacing. I have thicker stuff, so I might use that. Y'all, this was fun. I can see why people who want to start sewing will often start with a bag. 10 out of 10 recommend. It is, however, dinner time, so gonna make make another bag tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
All right, I made a second bag this morning. Good sniffs. I had to use the thicker interfacing that I have, which actually worked quite nicely. It's very stable now, but it was quite difficult to turn right side out. I figured I would go ahead and start separating everything before I make any more storage vessels, just so I can get a sense of like how much I have of everything and how big the storage vessel needs to be. How am I gonna do this? Can all of you be all the way over there? Strap. Well, that's the start of my first pile. Let's do this. Why do I have so much interfacing in my scrap container? That should not be in here. Yeah, I might actually need a bigger bag for the really small pieces. Okay, well this is gonna take the next few hours of my life, so I'm gonna turn on some music and just blast my way through. Okay, well, now I'm not really sure what my plan is. It looks like so much more fabric now that I've separated it out, which I realize is just because it's all been fluffed. This is all the stuff that was worth folding up for me. I think that this will ultimately go into whatever my new fabric storage is. I would like for it to just be on its own shelf so that I know, like, these are chopped up weird pieces. Don't get that confused for something you can make an entire garment out of, but I think they'll be best on a shelf. I have way more tiny scraps than I thought I had, so I think that will go into one of the bags that I just made pretty well. The medium scraps is where I'm not sure. Theoretically, I could put all of the woven ones back in the basket that they all came out of, and then I could just make a nice big version of that bag for all the knit ones. But also, I could further break down the woven ones into like the simple quilting cotton kind of style stuff versus other forms of fabric, because I do have some like felt, some satiny stuff in here, there's some tulle, there's some lace, anything that was non-stretch went in this pile. So now I'm wondering if I should break that down further, because I did really enjoy making the patchwork dress that I made, and my brain is a little bit stuck on patchworking right now. It's a great way to use up your scraps, but like ultimately the kind of easiest way to go is with similar styles of fabric. So a bunch of quilting cotton could easily be mixed together to make stuff. So should I separate this pile even further? I don't know. If you're gonna organize your fabric scraps, you might as well go to the extreme, right? Yeah, sure. Let's do that. Ooh, there's a throwback. Good times. Okay, what if I do by color? Or I could just put the same fabrics together. Ooh, see, look at these three together. Purple, blue, green. My favorite color combo. Possibilities! Y'all, the silence with which I just did that was like a little bit creepy even to me. It's very much a do not disturb me while I'm organizing vibe. Also, this is making me so happy. Oh my god, the colors. I think the only color I'm lacking here is red. I have not made a lot of red stuff. Now what? Okay, hear me out. What if I made a bag with a ton of compartments inside it? And then I could organize all of my patchworkable fabrics by color. Yeah? 8 different compartments? 10 would be better. I don't know how to make a bag like that. I'm gonna go think on that though, and have some lunch. I'll get back to you.
20 minutes later.
Okay, so I gave some thought to how I should organize and store, I guess just store at this point, all of these scraps. And it pretty much immediately became extremely overwhelming, which is like why I said I should just do this after I move instead of before I move. Not that I ever listened to me. But yeah, it kind of gets into like, how are you setting up your new studio? What storage and organization options are you going to have there? And I just don't know yet. I know what room of the house that we still do not technically have my studio will be in, but I don't think I even have measurements for that room because, I mean, yeah. So I'm gonna zero in on some specific areas. Tiny scraps, I'm gonna store in these bags. The knit scraps and the non-patchworking woven scraps, I'm thinking I might get 2 big laundry baskets that I could hopefully like slide under a shelf unit and just be able to kind of pull them in and out. So that leaves me with these rainbow colored possible patchworking pieces of cloth. That was a lot of P words. That's what I'm gonna zero in on. I'm gonna make something to store all of those because I really do like them separated out by color or by matching fabrics. So I want something with a bunch of different small-ish compartments in it. I'm thinking something like this long, this wide, maybe this-ish tall, and then I can put compartments in it by creating like fabric dividers. By my rough calculations, I'm gonna need 2 yards of fabric for the outside bag, 2 yards of fabric for the inside bag. I do have this bird flannel I got on my last big remainders haul. I got it because I liked the birds and the color, but like I don't use flannel. It's too hot. But blue, green, and birds, it goes with these 2 bags. Not perfectly, but like close enough. So I think this for the outside, and then I have 2 materials here. I've got a little over 2 yards of each, and they're this really weird non-stretch fabric. I got these at Remainders as well before I was getting like really picky. I was like, hey, a chunk of fabric, I'll take it. But I'm never gonna make clothing out of this because it is not pleasant to the touch. It's not terrible, but it's not something I wanna wear on my skin. I'm basically just gonna cobble it together because I have no idea what I'm doing and I don't really care if it like look super aesthetically pleasing. I just want to use what I have and make it work. Speaking of using what I have though, guess what I don't have? Interfacing. I definitely want to interface this so that it'll be pretty stiff and it'll stand up well on its own. So I think I gotta go to Joanne. Anyway, that's the plan. I don't know how this is gonna work. I am very, very, ready to move. I'm just at that point where I'm like, can we just do it, please, and be done? Matt is too. We're both just like sitting around. It's just looming there in front of us and it's not here yet. And we are both extremely restless. Restless. That's a weird one to emphasize the T on. Restless. Restless. Okay, I'm gonna go to Joanne now. I'll be back.
2 hours later.
You're standing on my hair. please don't. Oh God, I thought that was a spider. Is this gonna be too big? What do you think, puppy? I think it might be too big. Oh well. Wrong side. There's so much stick. Ow! It's beginning to look a lot like this was a terrible idea. Come comfort me, puppy. Oh, I love you. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I love you so much. Oh, you have hot breath. Gross. You're so nice. Oh, yeah? Why did I try to make something so big? What a ridiculous idea. Oh, good grief. I don't think my calculations were correct. Oh, good timing. Thank you, machine. Bobbin just ran out. All right, let's see what this looks like. She's a biggin. So I'm gonna do some tweaking, and I'm probably going to do all of this tomorrow because, in case you can't tell, I'm a little bit over it.
Tomorrow for sure.
Hi. Fun stuff just happened. Namely that my camera just massively glitched in a way I've never seen it glitch before, and just deleted a whole chunk of footage. Why does that just fit perfectly into the theme of my morning and frankly this entire video? Y'all, alright, here's the deal. I woke up this morning having so much trouble trying to focus, trying to care about making this giant bag. It was not working. It somehow ended up being way bigger than I wanted it to be, and so now it's like too big and I can't even handle it. I don't know what I'm doing with it. And I sat there for the longest time trying to force myself to work on it and to finish it, and my brain was just like melting because there was so much mess in this room and in the house as a whole. I was struggle bussing, and then I was like, why are you doing this? Why do you care? You don't have to finish this just because you started it. Give up. So I did, and I feel so much better. Yeah, it's here. It's folded up. It's like halfway made. I'm not giving up on it entirely. Once we move, it might be just the thing that I need, and I might come back to it and finish it. I might recycle the fabric into something else. I don't know, but right now, my brain could not handle it. I could not handle all of the fabric that was spread all over my entire studio. I cleaned it up. It took like 5 minutes. We've got all of the patchwork possible fabric stacked up in here by color. All of the tiny thread scraps are in here. These bags are great. They hold so much more than I even thought they would. This total success. Highly recommend just whipping together bags like this if you need storage options. All of my knit scraps went into this basket that's just been sitting over there forever. All of the other woven scraps are back in this original chest that they came out of, along with all of the nicely folded large scraps stacked on top. So this is it. This is everything. It is separated out, which is what I originally wanted to do. I just wanted to separate out and organize all of my fabric scraps, and I did that. So this project is a win overall. I did the thing that I wanted to do, and I can now vacuum the carpet and throw the sheet in the wash and clean up this entire space, and therefore clean up my brain. So yeah, this video was a bit of a disaster. It's okay. Sometimes that is just how life goes. And the moral of this story is give up. Sometimes you just have to give up. Sometimes it is healthier, it is better, it is more efficient to just give up on something. And our food is here, so I'm gonna go eat now. Thanks for being here. Wasn't it fun? It's been real, it's been grand, it's been very real. Bye! No, come back. Pink, orange, fly. Gross. There's already fur all over it. God, this house. What else could I possibly use for them for? Stuff like that. Words, yes. Boink!